friends, our verse for the day is taken from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 11, verse 23. The glory of the Lord rose from the center of the city and halted on the mountain to the east of it. Now, this verse summarizes a very terrific vision that the prophet Ezekiel had, which runs from chapter 8 to chapter 11. It is the second great vision of the prophet Ezekiel. He had seen a vision of the Lord departing from the temple of Jerusalem. And not just from the temple of Jerusalem. Eventually, the glory of the Lord departed even from the city of Jerusalem. The vision begins with a description of the evil that was witnessed or committed in the temple of Jerusalem. First and foremost, the prophet saw in the northern gate of the temple an idol of jealousy, as it is called. And then the Spirit of the Lord led him to the inner chambers of the temple, where he saw 70 elders bowing to graved images, reptiles of all kinds on the walls, and even greater abominations, women worshipping the god Tammuz, and 25 men bowing before the sun god. All this happened in the temple. And the glory of the Lord was sick and tired of these atrocities, and he rose from the temple. What followed? Chapter 9, series of massacre, beginning from the temple and spreading through the city of Jerusalem. The glory of the Lord had had enough of all this idolatry, of all these sins, and is now taking leave, not just of the holy temple, but also of the holy city. Now he rises, the glory, from Jerusalem, the city of the Lord, and is now on the mountain east of the temple. Now, this mountain is not named specifically, but the geography of the Holy Land can help us to understand what mountain it is that we are talking about. It is likely, according to many scholars, that the mountain referred to here is the Mount of Olives. The Mount of Olives that is just found at the east of Jerusalem. What is the significance of this mountain? Zechariah chapter 14 verse 4 talks about this specific mountain as the mountain upon which the Messiah would come. When we come to the New Testament, we see that Jesus himself went frequently to this mountain to pray. In fact, it can be said that the last prayer of the Lord was on the Mount of Olives. As he left the Last Supper, he heads to this mountain where he had his agony in the garden. Another interesting thing about the Mount of Olives, the mount east of Jerusalem, is that it is upon this mountain that the Lord ascended into heaven. Acts of the Apostles, chapter 1, beginning from verse 9. So, it is the mountain of prayer, it is the mountain of the ascension. If the glory is found on this mountain, then we, you and I, should learn to meet God upon that mountain. Jesus says those who worship him will worship him neither on the Mount of Jerusalem nor on the Mount of Samaria, but in truth and in spirit. The mountain of prayer, the Mount of Olives, the Mount of the glory, where the glory resides, is that spiritual mountain of prayer. On that mountain, you can make it around you, in your house, in your place of work, wherever you find yourself, you can ascend that mountain. And may God bless you as you go about your duties. Do not forget the mount at the east of Jerusalem, the Mount of Prayer.